Gonna keep this nice and short. We've got a meetup coming up on March 23rd at Liberties of Dublin at 7 p.m. until the place closes. We're going to meet up there after Streets for All's mayoral debate. Today, we have special guest Colin Warn, who made the initial Reddit post about Ride the D, Metro's now explosively popular t-shirts. We also solve a mystery about Colin's submission for our Valentine's Day episode. We're opening up a submission line if you'd like to submit car-free dating stories or car-free stories in general. Send us what you got, and we'll make another story episode. Link in the description.
So I have a first question for you, Kyle.
Okay.
Is me singing going to be the new transition to the podcast?
You wanna be there, yeah. It's Santa Claus, yeah.
Probably for that same clip from the Valentine's episode, just forever,
take
everywhere.
it, reverse it, echo, throw effects. I'm excited. I'm
Smack
excited.
it, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah, if we can get you doing that phonetically backwards, so we can reverse you like the Black Lodge and Twin Peaks, that would be perfect.
That's only going to be done in post. Yeah, that's how you're going to get me doing it backwards.
What was the song you were singing?
There was a when I lived in Santa Clara for a few years, I was like, Santa Clara, I should make a song about it.
Oh,
so I
okay.
did.
Because when I searched the lyrics, I was like, it's not giving me any results.
No, it's a very big song with lots of listens. So of course, you would definitely. It's pretty underground. Yeah.
Is it DJ Veaux?
DJ Veaux, yeah. I was trying to change my Reddit name and it didn't. So now I'm joking that this is the long advertising arc for my for my semi underground music career. This is all has led up to this point.
Wonderful.
That's yeah. But there wasn't really. I was like, Santa Clara, it's a cool place. I'm gonna make a song about that. That's as far as that. Yeah, lyrically, a lot going on too.
Yeah, we were talking about that for several days. Eric, Ivy,
I was like, I don't get the reference. Do you?
Yeah, what's going on here with this?
There is no reference. That's we'll cut it. Or maybe
and then I was like, wait, that's the whole submission?
That's the.
I was like, I thought he just took a bit of it.
Wait, did I just submit my song?
Yeah, the only thing you submitted for that was just the little clip of you singing that one line. We're like, what is this?
Oh, that's hilarious. So I actually had recorded like in a minute and a half.
Oh. And you thought you were the only submission that we cut out.
And I must have got to the audio files because I thought I selected like here's my submission. But I think I selected one of the audio takes from a track that I had done 5 years ago. So
my God.
That explains it. I'm like, how did they find my Spotify?
And that explains why it was such a bizarre submission. We're like, what does it? Because some of the comments were like this, or we're looking for transit love stories, and then someone's like, literally me, I'm like, what? I don't get it. What does that mean? Literally me.
Okay.
And then I was like, it's just another weird submission, like Santa Clara, yeah.
This explains because I thought what happened was one of you went got my minute and a half submission. Was like, there's not really a love story in here. But we found his Spotify, so that's the okay.
Nope. So the mystery solved. I mean, if you want us to, we will happily take your love story and use your love story. It was very interesting. Is me complaining about the city's too big, so people I would consider dating. I'm like,
we should submit it because that's a good segue into we were going to ask for people to keep submitting them even though Valentine's is past.
Boom. We'll do that. Now maybe this time you won't get another clip from a song I made 8 years ago. And
there will just be verse 2. We were what the hell?
I just love the whole week. Like, why would somebody be?
Do we use it? What do we do?
Santa Clara has no relevance to this podcast.
We wanna be there, yeah.
This is Colin Warn, Los Angeles' most eligible carless bachelor. I guess they want some sort of story about the ups and downs of dating without a car. I fortunately or unfortunately don't have any exciting stories about that. I think the only thing I'll say there is, sometimes you'll meet people in life, whether on dating apps, in person, and it is a continual struggle for me to make those relationships work when said individuals and myself are tens of miles away. It'll be cool in the future when 40 years when the city finally figures out how to build a house bigger than one story and people can live close to each other. So serendipitous relationships can happen more closely in person. But for now, we send smoke signals across the valley and see if we can find our love that way. So that's my story. I'm Colin Warn. I'm single and I'm in West LA. Hell yeah.
How did y'all get here today?
I'll go first. I took the 182, and I took the 182 to the B line to the D line. And just to elaborate a little bit, so on the 182 is the stop. There's no shade, and so I just did a transit talk recently with the inimitable Lisa Kwan, who gave a talk about shade equity and stuff. And I hadn't thought about how hot those metal benches get when there's no shade on them.
They hold heat very well.
Yeah, they're hot to sit on, and there was no shelter to be found. Otherwise, the ride itself was fine. The B line, I got the Chinese rail-made ones with the center-facing seats that I like, the trains, so that was nice. Issue-free. The D line, I got the old Bredas, but I did ride the D.
Hey, there we go. And that's what we're all here for at the end of the day, you know. Yeah.
One little thing about the D line, or just the station I was sitting in, I was thinking about, just because this is not bad by a metro standard. I had a 10-minute wait. That was the longest wait I had. And there were about 20 people seated on, they have these heavy-duty, like polished granite-looking benches that can't be high maintenance because they're granite, and they seat about 20 people, and the train can have 810 people on it. So I just think a little more seating in stations would be nice. Maybe that's my transit wish for today.
Stack them in the middle.
More seating. Have them have like bleachers. Bleachers would be awesome.
Bleacher. That's
because there'd be stuff going on behind the bleachers and under the bleachers in a darkened corner of a metro station.
Oh man, yeah, you can. Yeah.
That might have to be my transit wish, because I hadn't really thought about it. I did make the database of all the past transit magic wand wishes, and then I realized I haven't thought of any for myself. But maybe I'll come up with one later in the episode. Anyway, yeah, that was my ride.
I rode the D so hard. From Pershing Square straight to Wilshire Western. I think I've been too lawful good about my how did you get here today stories, because this time of day, we're recording at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, is usually a fairly uneventful time. And I've had a lot of stories happening later on, because I often take owl buses,
the vibe
late
is
trains.
Different after 10.
Yeah, I think we're going to do an episode all about that in my recent commuting adventures. But what I can share for a recent How Did I Get Here fun transit story, yesterday, 2 days ago, I was bussing all around the San Fernando Valley, Sherman Oaks, Reseda, all the way out there, picking up drum gear. The wonderful owner at EcoSet lets us practice and jam at the warehouse. So I've been slowly upgrading my electronic drum kit to an acoustic drum kit. I went out to pick up a bunch of drum pieces on the bus. I saw this guy in the morning who was wearing a cowboy hat with feathers in it, big mustache, orange safety vest. The dude sees me and recognized me because I'm carrying a big bag of drum hardware and my big bright yellow one wheel. And the guy and I, we look at each other, we acknowledge each other. Like, all right, Glance, something's going on here. A couple hours later, at the end of my drum day, I had just picked up a snare drum in Glendale. This was at 9 o'clock, and I first saw this guy maybe around 3. Get on the bus, same guy is there. Same cowboy hat, same vest, same giant mustache. Doesn't say a word as I'm walking in, but he looks at me, stares, fist bump.
Oh, flow life.
I think this was a Back to the Future moment, you know?
It's not a lot of bosses that are like, why don't you bring your drums to work?
No. Yeah, usually the opposite, if that ever is a conversation.
Yeah. Hey, is it cool if I play drums at work? I don't know. Let me talk to the higher-ups about it.
Yeah, it's usually the first time I ever got that question, you know?
So it's kind of cool that, that for a place that is an artist incubator for indie films, if you need a wall, you need props or something, And and now a couple of folks from the warehouse who've been learning to play. We've been jamming there for about a year. I was initially, and I am still, a bass player, but the warehouse guys are like, yeah, we need it. We don't have a drummer, and Jake plays bass, so I play guitar. I'm like, great, it's me.
I'm filling it out. Yeah.
So I've just been learning drums the past year to play with the warehouse guys.
Yeah, it's always like you need, like, everyone does guitar, fair amount do piano, but it's like bass player, drummer. It's like that's.
I always say the bass is the drums of guitars, and so the the opposite's true too. The drums are the bass of drums.
I will say this is a weird LA artistic thing I found, but my music friends in Pennsylvania, the stuff that I do out there where I'm playing bass, I do a lot of loop sampling. I do a lot of like playing bass with my feet using loops and samples and stuff. Yeah. Very like just wacky. Our whole shtick is we do concept albums, wacky concept albums about the grocery store we used to work at. But that is in like middle of nowhere Pennsylvania, where there is like nothing to do with this. And then out here with my warehouse friends, we're just learning covers.
What covers are you playing? And how are you holding your bass? Is it up high or is it down low?
I'm more of a like a play. I'm like
tilted. Like do you end up just turning it into a big upright?
I like the up high, early '60s, like side to side.
I generally play a little bit higher, but the thing that I'm struggling with now, I want to get a headless bass, because with my foot sampling thing, I have to turn down, look at my feet, play the feet, sing, and I don't have it enough that I can just feel where the pedals are with my feet yet, and I gotta find the right shoes for it. So I'm looking for something that's a little smaller and compact, so when I'm spinning around, or if I'm going from foot pedals to the hand sample pad off to the side, that I'm not, bam, whacking the mic stand with it.
Hey, it's a new percussion, you know.
Yeah, that's right. I'm totally gonna do that.
It's the new. People slammed it. It's like, no, we're re-innovating.
Do you guys know Einstürzende Neubauten?
No.
They're a German band that hit a lot of metal stuff and used saws and.
Oh, I love it.
And guitars and screaming.
Do you ever go to, I mean, I imagine a lot of these studios, like, when you go to like those Foley labs where you see the guys make all the sound effects. I did find the guy in Sony Pictures down in Culver City. They took a tour of the guy who made like the lightsaber sound and everything.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
And there's just like, and it's like the same guy. He's just like, they just let you walk in his lab and just check out the whole setup.
There's a British film from a few years ago about a guy that's working on an Italian like, giallo film or something, and you never see the film, but he'll just be like frying bacon to do a sound effect, or then like ripping tape off of a watermelon and you're like smashing stuff.
Yeah. There was a lot of like bamboo swinging, I guess, for a lot of the sound effects. That's nice. I was like, this is his favorite prop. Like,
the warehouse guys right now, they like the Strokes, they like Gary Newman, and they like Tool. But so Colin, how did you? Who are you, and how did you get here?
I'm a dude. You know, I walk around, I eat food, and I do cool shit, man. But while I'm going to do cool shit, today, this cool shit that I did today, I cycled up on Marina Del Rey. So I cycled up along Bologna Creek and then all the way to Culver City. Sometimes I'll take the Culver 1. But the thing I've been finding is like once you get to Culver City, it's like 20-minute headways to wait for the bus. And then especially at this time of day or later, like traffic is just going to get super bad. So I just found it's about like if during non-rush hour, it's about the same time if I caught the bus versus bikes. So I just end up cycling, taking the bike. They have a big bike hub there that I just park it, lock it up, and it just closes everything. And it's super, I can leave my helmet there, get some water. So then from there, take the E-line downtown, and then from downtown I rode the D. Thank you. And that's what brought us here full circle. That's how the punchline to everything on this podcast. That's the new period.
We should have a sound effect. Speaking of Foley artists, we'll swing some bamboo every time we say "ride the D" or any variation of that.
You just do like a. Rode the D!
Because people...
And then you put like a bunch of reverb at the end of it.
Because people will possibly know you as LABikeBoy on YouTube.
Yes.
And
100 subscribers, man. It's blowing up, man.
Because you make videos about doing stuff on bikes that I feel like are the risk. You know, a lot of times when people say that well, what about this?
Yeah.
And then I feel like your videos all seem like they're motivated by that. Like if someone's like, well, what if I need to go to Costco? And then you're like, I'm going to make a video about riding my bike to Costco.
It's mostly just me proving a point. I think the first videos, like I told, because I think, just give the cliff notes, like moving to Los Angeles, and I was like, cars are expensive, I'm selling mine. And then showing that you can live here. And people are like, what? How do you possibly? Why? So it's more like, instead of having to type out the answer time, I was like, I'll do a 5-minute YouTube video so I can just send
You can send people links whenever they are like, well, what if you need to move a couch? And then you're like, okay, hold on one second. Copy paste. Here you go. Here's my video of moving a couch.
Yeah, LAPD's being a little crazy. What if you got to give them an excuse to chase you? You're just like, here's the video on that. So it's mostly just like, for me, especially, when I have like a slow weekend, I'm like, ooh, new challenge. All right, so let's see if I can, like, you have a big long bucket list of things I want to go see and check out. It's like, all right, so if I wanted to do this without a car, how would I go do it? So it's like, for me, it's like the end goal, like, I want to go check this out, but then the extra challenge of like figuring out how to navigate there and tools to just kind of make that happen. And then hopefully you kind of, as I put together the roadmap and share it with other people, you can go, hey, no, this is possible. And you kind of see where like for me, most trips I end up finding is like, okay, get down to 7th Street on the Metro. And then most of that kind of branches out there. Or a lot of the trips to along the the Marvin Brody, the bike path on the beach in Los Angeles. That seems to be a kind of a common theme. So it's like starting to connect, like where are kind of the central areas or themes. And then it also helps me, like for part of the advocacy stuff, it helps figure out where the gaps are for all that. It's like, oh, I want to get over here, where's been kind of the common route, and what would have helped me get there a little bit faster, like what's kind of the gap there. So it's kind of a combination of a bunch of things. One, I want to stop answering questions over and over again and just send them a video. And then it also allows you to go, okay, for advocating for things, like what would have made this easier for me and for other people as well. So that's kind of what been motivated it. And I feel like I've had 3 or 4 different side projects, and it just, for me, I always end up just documenting it one way or the other, so I can either remember how I did it and or just share to people like, yeah, if you want to do this, here you go.
But can I ask 2 quick questions?
Yeah.
Bologna Creek and Marvin Brody.
Yeah.
I thought it was Marvin Broad and Bayona Creek. But I'm not a West Side.
This is maybe my Seattle accent, or maybe just that, which is really just me saying.
But that could be the proper way of saying it, because like San Pedro and Los Feliz.
This also could be me when I first saw the words LAOOA or JAOOA. I sing La Jolla. Don't trust my.
Don't expect.
Don't trust that I'm going to say it the correct way.
But also don't expect that Angelinos say it the Spanish way just because it's a Spanish word. Or Brody. I don't even know what it's somebody's family name.
I'm going to say trusting the West guy from LA accent has never failed anybody ever. When could that possibly go wrong? So but that's took the E lines. I'm a big fan of the E line. That tends to be a common.
How did you get here as an LA bike boy? Like, how did you become LA bike boy?
I think it just ended up becoming kind of an emergent.
Because where are you from?
Yeah, originally. I guess we should take it all the way back. So originally born and raised in Seattle. Like if you know where University of Washington is, grew up there. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where a lot of I guess what I didn't know was grew around with like a city with really good, urban design, urbanism. And, I just never really knew how good I had it, where like most of the streets, they're pretty narrow. That most of them are 20, 25 miles an hour, has pretty good public transportation. It's only continuing to get better. So that's, grew up in that environment. End up spent the first few years, actually I did music production and ghost production while living up there, because that was my first really big interest going out of college or high school out there. Did that for a few years. And then in my free time, ended up catching the spacecraft engineering bug, decided to go back to college to learn mechanical engineering to get into that. So I went to Washington State University, which is on the border of Washington State and Idaho, so Eastern Washington.
Very different.
Yes,
part of the state.
Yeah, very different. Mostly because I grew up in Seattle for 20 years and wanted to something different. It's and it was a cool experience. There's a lot of football, a lot of drinking, and that's about it over there. So, but it's.
I went to a bar, last time I was in Seattle. The first bar I went into, they were playing the entire debut album of Alice in Chains, and I just thought this was so funny. Like that.
Kind of like grungy, like.
And this, I should say, this wasn't in 1992. This was 2 years ago.
That energy is still very much alive in Seattle.
But I was also really pleasantly surprised. I mean, well, in some ways, I was unpleasantly surprised how much because it has a reputation for being the rain city, and it's like drizzly a lot of times. But it was pouring down rain for much of the time I was there. And I was like the only person I saw with an umbrella or whatever people supposedly call umbrellas up there.
There's a
bumbershoot or
there was I think they ended up from the 2008 financial crisis, like many companies went out of business, but there was a company, an insurance company I think called WAMU, or they might still be around, but they had a whole running advertising campaign on like if you do this is you're from the Pacific Northwest and you should buy our insurance. And one of them was 50 degrees shirts off guy. You're one of us. So that's like, that's kind of the energy of the place.
It was also like people were riding scooters, scooter shares. People were riding bikes in the pouring rain. And it was just funny because a lot of the reasons people give down here will be like, well, what if I'm going to get sweaty or something? And it's like, oh, come on.
Isn't that just like the sharp twisted irony? Like every city that should have good urban design doesn't.
Exactly.
And every city that has everything going against it is like, man, you could walk across the street without, meeting your neighbor while you're flying after you got hit by a car. So that's, I think so. Grew up in Seattle, went to college across the state. So that's really where I became. I think just really grew up around it. That's something I took for granted, but I never actually owned my own car until coming out of college. So even though I went to, the Netherlands for the first time in 2019, really motivated actually a lot by EDM. That's what really caught me and brought me to the culture. I was like, the first thing I want to get out, I want to buy a car. So I was like, I got a Tesla, back in like 2021, right when peak expensive, so that was a great financial decision. And actually, I regret and don't regret it at the same time. I had a few good years of like living like the classic American, where you're like, I drive everywhere. I go fast in the far left lane. But then after
I drive drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that I wasn't cool enough for
wasted.
That. That wasn't. Yeah. That wasn't cool enough for that. The car's driving itself the whole time apparently. So yeah.
You weren't rolling coal. You weren't living the real American dream.
No. Really, it was like how much that thing costs is like it's like the second child almost, or the first child. I don't have children. What am I talking about? But then did that for a few years. But then just like anything other things, it just ended up being like, okay, it's like cost me $1,000 a month. I'm like, well, I kind of want to spend that.
I liked the comment that I saw you made the other day on one of the Reddit channels about like, is dating, someone asked like, is a woman who's car free, is dating, is that a deal breaker? And then I saw that you said something like, no, because you can say what you said.
Oh, I forget what I said.
Some people might appreciate that you spend $1,000 on having meaningful experiences with the person you're dating instead of your car. That's a green flag.
Part of me. I think it was, and I think there was part of me wanted to say it in a more glib way. I'm like, I'll keep it, so I did. So I bought my first car, and I actually moved to the Bay Area for my first job for a few years, which was doing what I still in the industry do, spacecraft engineering. So I did that for a few years up there. And then the job I had at the time was an opportunity for me to come down, basically work remotely 9 months out of the year, and then go back on site 3 months. So I did that for a few months before they ended up having a downturn in business, and then end up getting a remote job down here that allows me to makes it a little bit easier to have like a car-free lifestyle. But at least moving down here, when I was up in San Francisco, I knew I wanted to be in California because I will pay so much in taxes just to have sun all the time, because I think it's the thing when you grow up, you want the thing you didn't have. Coming here, I was like, oh my God, look how well lit everything is. I see the blue sky,
Blue skies, golden sunshine.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you don't have to give your berm, but you live in Marina Del Rey, right?
Oh yeah. It's very
on a boat. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can go right into the end of the wharf. I'm the one with right next to the Russian oligarchs, man. Yucking it up.
When he says nobody drives in LA, he means He's including my favorite boat Angelinos.
We didn't say anything about boats didn't include. Don't ask me about the expense on those.
We haven't had any like actual boat guests.
Boaters,
like a boat exclusive Angelino.
I think the Marina's like the largest privately owned wharf or whatever where boats are stored, at least on the West Coast, something like that.
I talked to a guy in San Pedro once who lived on a boat, and he was telling me like boat stories.
Boats,
and he was a real salty dog. Like he looked like Popeye's dad. I mean, down to the squinty one eye and the no mustache beard. Like it was.
I think in 20 years when climate change really hits, most of the cities underwater, that's gonna be the future, man. We're gonna be like, look at all these bike lights. That was cute.
I want to be living on the coast and still like, I'm not moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Waterfront property.
Let's expand the Venice canals now.
Yeah.
Before we're forced to.
Yeah.
Wait, so where do people live in Marina Del Rey? I guess like I've biked through there a whole bunch, but I know there's a couple of like big buildings by the bike path. But
most of those tall buildings are condos or condos and apartments. So most of them are in there. There's obviously like a Marriott and some of the hotels there. But yeah, a good chunk of them because Marina Del Rey is it's one of the Swiss cheese holes of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. It's unincorporated, right?
Unincorporated. So that means they're like zoning laws, meh, and just 20 stories. Yeah, I don't. It's also super interesting too because. I've been, very fortunate to do some of the bike advocacy in kind of the Venice area, Mar Vista, and then Marina Del Rey. I mean, obviously, if you go through the city of Los Angeles, a lot of public outreach, working through the neighborhood council and then working with the different city council members' offices. But when you want, like some of the bike paths, I've been, biking a lot. Doing the advocacy there, it's interesting is that really, for me, what I found is like you just need to find the senior engineer who's in charge of that bike path, and you just email him, and he's like, "Yeah, cool, we'll do that." Like, there's no, you find the right person. You go, "Hey, you should." There's a lot of people who do this. You should do it, and there's not like, "Oh, we'll do public out." It's just like, all right, we're repaving it next year.
Does Marina Del Rey have its own kind of like council-ish
That's what.
thing?
So that's
like Altadena does, even though it's unincorporated.
It's
some kind
it
of
is
government.
that was the other kind of frustrating thing too. So it doesn't really. It's under Holly Mitchell's office.
Okay. Supervisor.
Yeah, so that's actually how I found the engineers because I gave their office a call and one of her deputies said, "Oh, here's our traffic or basically our senior engineer. Talk to him." But it's kind of a weird. It is a weird no man's land where there's not really like its own because Holly Mitchell has like all of like Inglewood and a bunch of other spots too and.
Places that are their own cities or are part of Los Angeles,
Yeah, so and I'm still like it's still kind of very much a project that I'm still trying to figure out how do you advocate for a place like that? Because especially if you look at a lot of the roads, some of the roads are just like there's like 5 cars that go down them and it's designed like a freeway. So
and I could be wrong, but I feel like the county supervisors, maybe with the unincorporated areas, they kind of feel like we're the one you go to more for this than like if you lived in Inglewood, you might go to the Inglewood City Council.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I think especially because I've been seeing more and more projects where it's like county supervisors were responsible for this. I think that's still another avenue I haven't tried yet. But I think initially when I was talking to the people who were like Marina Del Rey Historical Society, they pointed me to Holly's direction. But yeah, there could be something where you go talk to the supervisor, like, yeah, we should give you guys a bike lane. That'd be cool. Yeah. But I completely forgot what the initial question was.
I love the pedants who like to say that Los Angeles is the city of Los Angeles only. So when you're leaving Mar Vista or Venice to go home, do you tell people like, I'm going out of town?
Oh yeah. I don't get to
leaving the city. Like, where are you going?
Marina
Del Rey.
Yeah, I don't get to vote for the mayor, but everything they do affects me. So, feels like the Puerto Rico of Los Angeles, except they actually have Florida funding. Yeah.
Yeah, Marina Del Rey, the Puerto Rico. We're
putting it on the sign right now, guys.
The American Samoa.
I'm putting the T-shirt.
It's kind of the American Samoa because then, because then Samoa would be like Playa del Rey, and then that doesn't analogy breaks down.
Yeah.
Playa del Rey is not the Samoa of.
No, they've got their thing. Yeah, they definitely need better bike lanes. So that place needs. Yeah.
So how's your experience living and getting around that way? Because I found when I was living in Santa Monica. There were things that I would want to do that were in Playa, like when the climbing gym opened up down that way, or if I wanted to go bike to Bayona or something like that. But it was always just a huge pain to get down there and to get out of there. And I was thinking about moving when I'd been thinking about, maybe I want to move out of Santa Monica. And I was looking at, maybe places like Playa or Marina that anywhere from Santa Monica is already difficult and they have a train.
Yeah.
And so the thought of, I'm amazed that people can live in live south of there in the areas that aren't directly served by the train.
Yeah. So I think for me, what really determined why I chose Marina del Rey versus Santa Monica, and I think, I don't know, maybe at a different point in my life, Santa Monica was definitely a close second contender, so I could see myself going there long term. But really the thing that drove it for me was, where do I find I need to spend most of my time for like my day-to-day life? So initially when I moved down here, like Santa Monica was definitely a big contender because of the E-line, because there's, sometimes I would find myself, okay.
The crime train.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I do crimes on the side.
Yeah.
I just read a thing about the crime train today. And
dude, all those couches I'm stealing.
So, I mean, because I always did, I was like, what crime are they talking about? Like, and I always just assumed like burglary, but then now I realize, they're just like, no, they're just unhoused people. Like the crime of being unhoused is what they don't want. Because there was a thing I was reading an article about the D-line extension, which is opening May
8th.
And,
May!
Just in case you haven't heard.
And that there's going to be coffee inside the stations.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing I'm excited about. Exactly, there are going to be station amenities.
Wait, hold up. Is this like station amenities just for the opening, or are we talking?
No. We're talking about inside the stations. You will be able to get coffee.
Oh, be still my beating heart.
But it's Starbucks. No, I don't know. I don't think they've said who it's going to be yet. But I was reading about that, and then I was reading about, and this was in a West Side paper, I think the Santa Monica one, but it was like, there had been the Beverly Hills school district spent $20 million to fight the purple line.
Imagine what that money could have been used for.
From the budget that was meant to go towards improving schools, and they called it like stop the purple menace or something like that, something really ridiculous. And then someone commented like, yeah, this article is really misleading. They don't mention that the E-line is the crime train and that Santa Monica will never recover from having train access, which
it's pretty bad, man.
It did have at the beginning. That's part of the reason it exists. But
you can drink your alcohol outside now. It's Coachella's like doing a spinoff over there or something. God, yeah.
I got into a fight with a guy on set last week.
As one does.
This particular guy was friends.
Scranton guy.
This particular guy.
Look at the dogs.
Yeah, this particular guy I was talking to. The dude's like, "Oh, Kyle, this is my friend, whatever his name is. He's from Santa Monica." Hey. I'm like, "Oh, hey, I lived in Santa Monica for a long time." And the guy's like, "Hey, I gotta get some compost for my lawns because I don't want to do the water stuff. I can get a couple 2-3 bags of compost." I'm like, "Well, sure, yeah, man.
Palos Verdes, they got some horses shitting. You can bring it down.
Like, hey, hit there. There's Griffith Park does free compost pickups. The Michigan Ave City Place in Santa Monica does compost pickups. Just watch their socials. It happens every couple of months." And then it quickly turned into, I didn't prompt this conversation. I didn't provoke him at all. Yeah, Santa Monica was a real nice place to live until the crime train opened up. Like, oh, you mother.
Hey, man.
I mean, that happens sometimes. I think it was a guy I was just making chit chat with a stranger once, and he said something about, I think he was from Pacoima, and he was like, I was like, "Oh, what was that like growing up?" And he was like, "Oh, it was great until the blacks came." And I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay,
that's
Just assume I'm cool with that."
This guy was a lot like that. With the way the conversation was going, older guy, a Teamster, automatically like sustainability and Teamsters, we don't get along. So there's at least a 50% chance that these folks are just going to like throw their whole pile of food at your feet instead of placing it in the compost bin like they're supposed to.
I think they put you together because they wanted you to be the TV show. They're like, we're going to put a camera on this moment.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So then like we just get to arguing about this back and forth, and like the astounding privilege of this guy. Like I told him like, hey, when we're able to have a pretty good life out there in a walkable, trainable city. I've been able to pay my bills and pay my rent because of the E-line train. This guy's like, yeah, well that's fine and dandy for you, but
Yeah, I know what Santa Monica was like 30 years ago. It is better. There's meth now.
I wonder if anyone that lived there before 3rd Street Promenade was made by getting rid of cars on it was like, is reminiscing about, 3rd Street used to be really great before they made a promenade.
But if we go all the way back to Huntington, how do the people in Huntington rolled around feel about Santa Monica? That's my question.
Yeah, just the astounding privilege of this guy who clearly has never, has never taken the train, probably will not ever take the train.
I'm sure he's been to the Getty once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he rode that tram. Maybe he went to the Americana and got on the trolley. Hey, we're going to the Cheesecake Factory.
And is able to own property in Santa Monica.
Right.
Like, the amount of astounding privilege you have to say that. Like, that's also part of the reason, like, that one of the things I appreciate so much about not living in Santa Monica anymore is just, like, the people that I interact with
are not Santa Monicans.
Yeah, like they're actual people. Like they suck.
Yeah, I would say West LA definitely. I mean, Los Angeles is a bubble, and like West LA is a bubble in a bubble. But it definitely is like I know there's in kind of Venice area. There's a coffee shop. Actually, I'll shout them out. Boulevard Coffee. They're pretty cool. They have like a lot of. It's basically like it's definitely like a collection grab for like influencers, and there's like conversations that you would hear on like reality TV shows or like there's like conversations that you would never expect to hear anywhere else but Los Angeles, and it's especially a place where like if you sit there long enough, you just think, oh yeah, dude, I got an activation tomorrow, I got this pop up later, but then you go to like. I don't know. I go back home to Seattle. People are just like, it's like I haven't seen a nose job in a while, or
I saw something at the Gelson's by me last night, and it was one of those celebrity magazines, and I not even the foggiest notion of who these people were that were on the cover, and it didn't say their names. It just said like how the rift between them is tearing Hollywood apart, and it was just so funny to me because I was like. Man, these if gun to my head, I could not tell you who these people were.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a blonde lady and a brunette guy, and
dude, I'm
guessing they're actors or reality stars. Maybe she's a singer and he's like a sports guy. I really don't know.
Maybe that's the reason that commercial production has moved out of LA and over to Georgia because of this feud.
Yeah. It's just like, God, we gotta. Oh man, we gotta get to Georgia, man. We need more.
I wanted to almost read it just to be like, I'm just like a trivia question, like who the f- are these people that are tearing Hollywood apart?
The latest exports from the Abercrombie factory. Yeah.
We should talk about Ride the D.
Ride the D. That's important. It's not just a punchline. It's very important. It's going to save the environment.
Can I wrote down.
Dude, you got like a whole list of questions. I love this.
It's like notes. Okay, so a month ago, you posted a mock-up for a t-shirt on Reddit's LA Metro subreddit titled Metro, sell this t-shirt.
Yes.
And it said, Ride the D. Well, you and I, so this was my comment. This is the transit agency who skipped the F line because they thought that letter and that letter alone could be used to connote something naughty. And I'd just like to say I was wrong. Metro went for the D line in a big way. And they've really been writing it. I mean, like I've seen so much stuff. They're like, the D is coming. The D is getting bigger. I'm like, wow. They're really leaning into that. Maybe there's an F card in our future or an F line in our future after all. How'd you come up with Ride the D?
That is, so I guess I got to give a shout out to a random Google Meetup meeting with some Streets for All people. So we were all, our latest, I guess there's a lot of these side projects that we're working on, and one of them is single preemption, where basically like if the train should stop it. The thing that has 500 people should have the right of way versus the thing that has 1.5 people.
I left a comment and
there we go.
With the city clerk, because I noticed there were like 10 comments, but like 60 likes.
Oh, yeah.
To people saying like, hey, we need to do comment about the signal preemption. Like, you can't just like it on Reddit or Instagram. You got to actually make a comment.
We figured out how to channel that.
Takes 30 seconds.
There's, I think, about 200 people actually put stuff on the city council file. So I think the message got through line clear. But that was the first meeting, the kickoff meeting. Someone was like, when the D line's opening? It's like, I think it's this day. And people were like making jokes like, hop on the D, da da da. And then somebody was like in past passing, someone should make a T-shirt or something. And then I was like, and I took that personally.
You're like, I'm going to take all the credit.
Yeah.
This is my life's mission.
Yeah, so I was toying with ideas like, what should we do? It's like hop on the D and all that. Just like, let's just keep it simple. I was like, ride the D, just 3 words. It translates pretty well. Like even if you're international, you're like, I get that.
It's almost a single entendre.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just like there's one. We want you to do one thing. With 2 interpretations.
And they've sold out, and I know a lot of people that have them.
Yeah.
I have friends that were like posting pictures of themselves, like, "Look, I got my crop top."
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
I hope they do another reissue of those. I didn't learn about this until they were already sold out.
Mm-hmm. I do too, because in a interesting twist of fate. So I put in I bought the T-shirt, and then my sister wanted crop tops. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do a second order.
Well, you bought the shirt. They should give you one for free.
Hey man, but Metro, well, especially after this, we'll plug in here.
Yeah. Metro, you can give him a life, one of those tap cards that's just like infinite ride.
I can just do whatever I want on this train now. It's like, I want to throw a house party out here. Cool, this is happening.
This is the EDM card.
I mean, actually, side tangent. Like, I feel like that is like another. This is me hanging out in Venice too long. There's an activation waiting for Metro there. You get some cool, trendy musicians that just like take over the train for an hour. You get the E-line, some scenic stuff. That would be get some good video content.
You could. I mean, you could do an all D DJ set.
D
Two Live Crew have a song called "Throw the D." That's the clean version, So
D. I think D would be good. I think also a combination of like A-line and E-line, because especially if you can get some good aerial shots on drones and stuff like that. But anyway, there's definitely some artists who need to get on this.
Yeah.
But basically, the punchline of the story is there's something with the mailbox that happened. So they ended up losing my T-shirt. But the crop top came, so I have my sister's crop top.
Okay,
you gotta wear it. You gotta wear the crop top.
So we'll see what happens when May 8th comes around. But
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the kind of genesis of it. There was a Streets for All meeting where people were like, "Oh, this would be funny," and I was like, I threw it up on put some AI slop together. Just give me a T-shirt. I'll throw on Reddit. It's like, you guys, this is like the easiest thing. And then
you're like, it's a no-brainer.
The people of Reddit were like, yes. And then I was like, okay, we got to, Metro.
Except me, who was wrong. I was like, nah,
they
no
won't
way
do this.
that.
Dude, I think the thing we underrated, Metro got some cool kids now.
Yeah. So we're gonna get an F line. That's all I care about.
I'm
gonna make an AI slop F line shirt when I should mock that up now.
I loved Seth Meyers punchline at the end.
I know it's been this is the most viral that a line of Metro has gone. I would have to say, and it's on like late night talk shows are talking about it.
It's a good sign. There's I think in my mind, I think we're all kind of very in kindred spirit with this idea, but a lot of like the traffic, transportation, climate problems, like in terms of like an engineering challenge, like it's all solved. Like really, a lot of it, it's more of it's a cultural problem. Like try to make it like how do you make it cool and trendy? And to me, a lot of what the car industry, a lot of the lessons there, what they do to me, like where they do a lot of like they do a lot of people do like, oh, you're masculine or sex sells, stuff like that. I think that a lot of that, to me, is where you really, that's kind of like the home stretch where you bring a lot of the engineering and the advocacy work that a lot of people have done here. That's how you kind of bring it to the mainstream.
It in a way,
And I mean, the way that I've been using my, my gritty, crusty Northeastern Rust Belts upbringing to provoke my friends into taking the train is I will tell my one friend from Scranton who lives out here now, who lives right by the Reseda G line stop. I'll tell him, Jamie, your f***ing ain't gonna drop if you don't take the metro. He hasn't taken it yet, but
peer pressure,
just trying to be like really aggressively hyper masculine in like the nastiest, crustiest way.
It's funny to me too. I don't know. I was just thinking about like how our current regime, where we're fighting a resource war right now, unprovoked against during a nice winter global warming heat wave. We're wearing shorts. But the idea that that's somehow so macho to like burn ancient algae or like rocks and be like, no, that's the way real men do power, because he's so anti-electric, so anti-wind, so anti-renewables and sustainability. and he only just discovered affordability. But
Oh yeah. Well, even like even ripping on that, like the whole arms race was just like getting bigger and bigger cars. Just like I don't know, like guys, this isn't like driving cars. It's like so 1960s, man. Like come on.
Well, you know, there's a rule of the road that is you only have to yield the right of way to someone who has a larger truck than you, and no one has a larger truck than you.
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what a lot of Mobility for Who does. A lot of mockery of people with their like emotional support vehicles, and it's like you guys are the snowflakes that need to ride around in these safe spaces that you create for yourself because you're too chicken shit to ride a train.
I always want to do challenges like, okay, let's swap places.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just see how this goes. Yeah.
I really like what you said at the Comic-Con panel, Eric. That was
thank you.
Shout out.
Shout out me.
If you're surrounded by people who look like you,
you're in a bubble and you're not on the bus.
You're in a bubble and you're not on the bus. It was something like that.
Someone did message me and say that they would wear that on a t-shirt too, by the way.
Metro. There's a lot of
you want to that's like the Dr. Bronner's t-shirt idea. There's a lot of text on this one and it's not very
just like an entire
just paragraph
just like a screed about public transit.
All the way around the shirt.
I need you to stand still for 5 minutes while I read your dissertation.
Manifesto.
That's the way we could do that. I'm thinking for the F line spitballing here, maybe get effed is what they can say.
I don't know. You know, I don't want. I'm so bad at thinking of stuff on the spot. But there's just but I can come up with a bad word for every.
I feel like
everything in the alphabet.
You have to make
even X like triple X.
Yeah, you can't make it. In my mind, you can't make it too explicit. You just have to be like right on the line.
A little bit of deniability. Well, I mean, they do that with car ads again all the time. You know, there's just like it's. Very
Those car ads that you've probably seen, I've probably worked on most or all of them. And a fit of
this guy, we need to hit the Metro, hit this guy up.
Seriously, in a fit of like supreme irony, most of the jobs that I've been doing the last 2 years are all car commercials, which is funny because I'm
you are the problem, sir.
I'm the weirdo who rolls up to set on the bus, you know, like. But hey, you know those are the breaks, and for whatever reason, car companies are the people who are shelling out money to have a sustainability presence on set, maybe to off-put all of the horrors their product is doing to the planet. But you know, hey, at least they're composting.
No, I do. I mean, I think normalizing taking public transit and being like, oh, I'm secure enough in my masculinity that I don't need a cyber truck to prove people that I am a real man. Like that's a powerful thing. And honestly, a lot of heterosexual cisgender dudes need that permission to not be like, because I've said this before, this can go on a t-shirt. Status symbols, they're symbols. You need symbols of status when you don't have actual status. And that's an admission of when you're like, I need this car because how else are people going to know I'm a big shot? You know?
Yeah, to me, I think like the idea, it's interesting not only, well, I guess even in engineering, but I think in a lot of life, how powerful the idea of a story is. Like we've, when we, initially sold the whole idea of cars, it's like, oh, this is freedom. There's all the messaging behind it.
Well, they looked really cool too.
Yeah,
I mean, old cars looked cool.
Yeah, and then
people got hooked, and they're like, now you'll drive a gray blob.
And then I forget if I listened to this podcast or somewhere else, but I think it was like somewhere in Europe how they ended up getting people to slow down or stop speeding was they had, basically billboards of women holding out their pinkies or women on the side, like that idea where like what you're doing, the story that's now being told is if you drive a big car, you drive fast. The story that everyone has in your mind is you're a big macho person. But then there was, kind of a movement of people that went, no, that's not the right story. We're waving the pinky at you because we're reshaping the story that this is actually something else. That this is you're telling us something else. This is not macho behavior.
What is waving the pinky?
Oh, what is this? The size of other things on your body.
Yeah, it's a D. It's a D line.
Yeah, everything. Basically, if you can tie it back to procreation, that's how you change the narrative. I see. So to me, like it's even like in the. Even just the field of engineering, so many other places, like it's amazing how much of the reality and what our life becomes is like the story and the storytelling aspect of all of it. And I could think of no better place to change a story than this city right here.
Well, which is, one of the stories they usually tell in car. I mean, this is not a new observation, but when you see car commercials, a lot of times they are filmed in empty streets of downtown Los Angeles. And it's like with no one else around, and it's gently sprinkling. And you're like, when did this happen?
I always think if you give like when
someone looks in the back seat and their kid's asleep and they're like, oh, okay, good. It's so peaceful.
Yeah, I always think you could give if you give one of these e-bike companies like a huge budget for a Super Bowl commercial. You just get somebody in a car, like
just show the actual experience of sitting in traffic, freaking out. What's this asshole doing?
And then you have like an e-bike come along, and they just go, "What?" And they jump on it, and then they just like we're just recording.
Just sitting in traffic as like a train passes you, and then a bus passes you in a bus lane, and then a pedestrian walks faster than you, someone on a bike, and you're like, "Cars, freedom."
Yesterday, I was going up to Alex, my friend Alex Dunny's place to record a quick demo after doing some running around, and I was biking up 14th Street in Santa Monica, and here is slammed, stopped, wall-to-wall cars all the way up 14th.
Oh yeah,
I'm just waving at them on my little bike, like, "Hi, I'm moving, you're not."
Oh yeah.
It was great.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah, and if you could like somehow, I don't know, peer pressure, or just give somebody like, here, we'll put you on a bike, give you that experience. I always toy with the idea of if I want to convert somebody in a car, take them to Venice Pier. And or the Venice Fishing Pier, which is near Marina del Rey, we'll go, okay, I'll start on a bike, we'll do it, let's do it during the afternoon. I'll start my bike, you start in the car, let's go to Santa Monica Pier. Like, we'll go there. And then they get the experience of doing it in the car. It's like, all right, now let's go back. And then I'll give you a bike, and then you get that experience. So you get it, because there are small parts in Los Angeles where you can get small tastes of urbanism. So people are like, this can be how it is, like this small stretch here. You give them that insight, that lived experience, and then you go, what if going to Costco a mile away was like that? Because I know for me, like I was super car brain until like 2 years ago, and it wasn't until getting really immersed in that, or even taking like an e-bike ride in Catalina, and then seeing, ironically enough, actually South Los Angeles, when you go to Hermosa, just seeing how many people are on e-bikes and that experience, like that's really what did it for me.
It's also, for a lot of people, you get those tastes of how something could be by just when you're on vacation.
Oh yeah.
You go to somewhere like Paris and you don't rent a car.
Yeah.
You're like, I guess I'll take this train. It's a little scary. And then you do it and you're like, that was actually pretty easy.
Yeah,
and then
give them a little sample.
You take a bike share somewhere and then you start realizing like, oh, but this could never work at home because of the weather. You'll be too sweaty.
So maybe philosophizing a little bit, but how much do you think home ownership in the less populated parts of America are? How do you think home ownership plays into slowing down urbanism? Because I know a lot of folks, that from my hometown, right? Like, I can't get them to come out here because, like, oh, I got my mortgage, or like, oh, then I gotta sell the house if I move or something.
Yeah.
And so many people are just locked into these small cities that have no transportation, that have no urbanism or resources, because you're not giving up that house.
Yeah.
And if you do, and also too, if you do give up your house, like now, you're never going to buy one again in 10 years.
Yeah.
I think people are, also like as someone who lived a lot in, middle American places, people in those places don't typically travel very much either. When I lived in Iowa, for example, I think the majority of Iowans have never left Iowa. And if they do, it's often to cross the border into Missouri so they can buy illegal fireworks. And then they drive, and there's like tents that are on the Missouri border where you can get illegal stuff. And then you just turn around and you're like, I'm not going to Missouri. That's St. Louis and Kansas City. I'll get murdered. And
I'm pretty sure the dude I got into a fight with said he was from Iowa.
There's a thread here. Why is everybody running to Los Angeles from Iowa? And that's the title of this podcast episode.
Why are they riding the D?
Why are they coming to Los Angeles? What's that
to ride the D?
There we go. Boom. Right, yeah.
My favorite thing, back when Urban Dictionary first came out, this is a little bit of a tangent.
That is something I've never been on in such a long time. It's like poking on Facebook.
When it was new, it was fun to look up stuff. Like you'd look up names. Like if you look up Kyle, it'd be like, Kyle, all around awesome guy. You're like, oh, a guy named Kyle wrote this, And then people would do ones for states. And I remember the Iowa one was like, we had the hottest chicks, the best county fairs, and the best mudding. And I was like, the fact that those are the three things that you think make a state great is a sign that you've never been to another state, because Honestly, and I was born in Iowa. Mm-hmm. Every state bordering Iowa is better than Iowa. And they have hotter chicks. And they have the same mudding. You can mud in any muddy field.
We've lost our audience in Iowa, man.
I don't know about the county fairs though. Yeah, maybe Iowa does have the best county fairs.
Tell me now, what is mudding?
Just driving in mud, I think. Spinning your truck around in
we don't really get rain
muddy
here, so I don't know
field.
If we can experience that,
we get dirt here.
We
do it in winter.
Yeah.
Get some of the
you know how people go to the snow. That's something about Southern California. People go to the snow. Oh, did you go to the snow this winter instead of the snow coming to you?
That's the one thing.
Did you go to the mud? Why? For mudding? Yes.
Yeah, there we go. That's one reason I also enjoy coming down here. I like going to bad weather. I don't like it coming to me.
Did you go to the bad weather this year? Yes.
It really reminded me how much I had to
it was fun for a few hours.
Yeah. It is nice when you visit home, at least for me, visiting home during the winter, and to just tell my family that I'm leaving a few days earlier than I actually am, and get an Airbnb up in the country, and then just hang out and jam. The snow's coming down. Got a big ring of kibasi on the stove. It's a vibe. After my 3 days, I'm done.
No, that's pretty genius to be all right, well, I'm going back to California. You didn't, and then you can tell yourself, I didn't say right this minute. I'm just leaving here.
Right.
Yeah, I will say every time I do come back though, I do I toy with ideas there are other places I can move to, stuff like that. But every time I fly back in here, just seeing how much there's to do here, just all the culture and stuff, just coming in one spot. Yeah. It's just
I flirted with that earlier this year. I spent about 3 months back home, and there's things to be said about that and small town living and stuff, but you realize first people drink a lot elsewhere, and there's so little to do. Mm-hmm. I don't have to explain why trans people are people to absolutely everybody. I get it. Hey, that's part of my work in this incarnation is being the ambassador.
That's why people in the country self-medicate and go on Facebook.
Yeah, right. But it is just for all of our problems, and I think it's kind of fun to dunk on LA when you live here. We about it because we love it.
Yeah, and I do say the problems of LA. I mean, that's one of the reasons I end up choosing here is at least it does have the desire to move in the direction. It's not moving as fast as I want, but it is moving in the right direction.
I think that I would agree that generally Los Angeles is moving in the right direction at a glacial pace.
Yes, high speed rail, heat death of the universe.
Well, maybe that's a good segue into talking about the history of the D line a bit because the D line opened in. Do you know what year? It wasn't the D line. It was
I'm deferring to you. This is the
make
story.
Make a guess.
92.
I'm going early 2000s. 93. Okay.
93. This guy. Yeah. You win, Kyle. And then in 2006, it became the red line. Or sorry, it was the red line at first. In 2006, it became the purple line. And then in 2020, it became the D line.
Oh, they added the D in 2020?
Now, so what is the D line as we're recording this in March of 2026, right? What is the D line? What we know of as the D line is this little purple stub that comes off of the back of the red line.
But it extends down to Union Station as well. So it runs parallel with the red line, and then it has a two-stop stub.
But it used to be
micro line.
But it used to just be part of the red line, right? Initially that was.
It was originally the red line.
How did that work?
So the subway. It was just two routes of the red line. So I'm trying to think. I feel like when I moved here, the red line only went to Sunset and Vermont, by the Kaiser. It didn't go all the way to Thai-town yet, and it definitely didn't go to the Valley. So there was just this little red stub that, this train that would go up to Los Feliz and then over to Koreatown, just depending on which one you were on. And then there was the blue line all the way down to Long Beach, and the green line and those were the only train lines. But let's see. So back in planning on this, I'm trying to remember when planning on the extension started. It started a long time ago, but then they we've talked about this before. They tied it in people's mind to, there was a gas explosion at a Ross in Hollywood, and then they kind of intentionally conflated that into, if we dig this subway, it's going to explode. And then they made, I mean, that's what Volcano's about. They're like the D-line extension goes under the La Brea tar pits, and then that makes a volcano. And then all Angelinos discover that underneath the volcanic ash, or with volcanic ash on their face, you can't tell what race they are. And that's a beautiful message. And then it rains, and, and the ash washes off.
How high do you have to be to come with that script? Like, I don't even.
And then the rain washes off, and they're like, "Oh my God, look, we're all different races." But we were all helping each other out because we were covered in volcanic ash, united in our hatred of the Purple Line. But back in 2013, I walked from where we are now along the Purple Line route then to, I think I went all the way to Westwood. That's where it's planned to go to so far. Like that's the stage 3 of the D-line extension. It might after that, eventually go all the way down to Santa Monica, and then
listen, we really need to extend this D.
Well, we need to have another
all the way. Let's all the way to Tokyo.
Just turn PCH into a train line.
The A-line's already going to Oklahoma, so let's go the other direction.
Yeah. But yeah, so back in 2013, I walked it and I did a preview of like what we would expect in 2023 when it was going to open, but it didn't open in time. Shocker. And it's a little bit above budget, but we're getting 3 new stations on this one. So I was looking back at what I wrote on that piece. So there's Wilshire La Brea, and that's the one that's by El Rey, the Korean Cultural Center, which is a place I used to go a lot. And then they used to show free movies. I don't know if they still do. And Yuko Kitchen, which is a restaurant. We had a guest on before.
Cozy.
Cozy was a big fan of. Yeah, we geeked out about how great Yuko Kitchen is. And then the thing that's right by there is the E. Clem Wilson building, which when it was opened in 1929 was the tallest commercial building in the city. And for a long time it had the Samsung box on it. And then before that, I don't remember. I want to say it was like Washington Mutual or something, some other brand with a blue box on top of the building. So there's that stop. And if you want to say anything about those stops and what you're looking, excited about, jump in. And then there's the Wilshire Fairfax station, and that's Museum Row. So we'll get Mocha.
Eric meant LACMA. We're getting LACMA.
The George C. Page Museum, the Peterson Museum, the Craft Contemporary Museum.
And this is all in the first extension.
This is all what's going to be opening in May 8th. Yeah. Little Ethiopia is walking distance to there. Tom Bergen's, which is a great old Irish bar. The La Brea tar pits, unless they explode and create a volcano that teaches us about racism.
Not too late, baby.
The Academy Museum. The Academy Museum was not there in 2013 when I walked. It was just an old Macy's or May Company or something.
Quick history lesson, I guess. When they were proposing doing it under the Peterson Museum, do you remember? Because now they're actually super supportive. And actually, I remember now when they talk to other groups, they actually bring the Peter Museum. They have a video from the Peter Museum saying we actually, we support the train. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Were they like that back in the initial advocacy?
I don't remember if they were. I do remember on that walk, I believe, I went into the Peterson Museum, and at the time I remember they had, because I was a little surprised. I love the Peterson Museum because I think cars belong in museums, and it's great to look at them there. That's their natural home, just not the streets of a city.
But very slowly. I'll give them that.
But they had an old yellow car, a Los Angeles Railway car in there, and that was not there last time I went. So I remember there was some kind of exhibit about mass transit in Los Angeles. So I don't know. I had read too though that like the Beverly Hills High School have kind of come around after wasting all this money on trying to stop the Purple Line and consider themselves partners with Metro in it now. But I don't remember specifically if the Peterson were against it or not. It's weird because you wouldn't think that like you can go to a car museum using a train. Like it's not like you have to pledge your life to one kind of transit. Although I will say car-brained people are they have the hardest time with the whole concept of multimodality because it's the car-brained people that will always try to define me as like, oh, you're a bike guy, or you're the bus guy, you're the guy that walks everywhere. And it's like, I do all of those things.
I will say maybe that there is maybe some lessons to learn from a conversion story. One of the things that led me down this road was, I was in my Tesla being like, charging.
Giving the finger to cyclists, like running them off the road.
You know, all that. I had 2 coworkers who were bike only. They didn't own a car. Were back in the Bay Area, and they were never. They just bike. They never really advocated for it. They're just like, oh yeah, just bike there. That's it. So it's like, it was like a slow comment. That was between like the visits to Europe, just hanging around and then hanging around people who have that lifestyle.
Yeah. And you went to the Netherlands too.
Yeah, and then as the Netherlands, and then you start to see like, oh, this is expensive, and like all the building blocks start to pick up. So just because someone's car break now, if you make a friend with one, you slowly,
I was like, I would say I was kind of, I wouldn't say I was car brained, but I definitely, when I moved here in a car like most people, and or like at least most people that come from within the country. I definitely, I just. Back in college, I'd taken the bus places and I'd been car free, and it was like, oh, it's a small college town. I can walk around and take the bus, but then, coming out here, I definitely bought the hype of like, okay, you need to get a car so you can get around Los Angeles, and then, I mean, I did go, I did not want to live in a place that was like that. I guess I wasn't really car brained that much, but I do remember seeing Speed in Iowa and being like, maybe I would visit Los Angeles because they're building a subway, like I always wanted that kind of urbanist thing. But yeah, I mean, I definitely thought you needed to have a car, and then it was seeing people that around Los Angeles like that I knew, friends of friends that biked everywhere, and I was like, oh, and they're not shut-ins; they get around, like because they were part of the whole like really militant like Midnight Riders. Bike crew. Oh yeah. The man capris. There's a look and a smell of like.
So part of my strategy of having my apartment right by the Pershing Square station is that if I have in my apartment, I did not get a parking spot with it. I don't need it. I don't need one. I'm not paying for it. So if I'm gonna have friends come over, like, hey, you want to get here? Take the B, take the D. And most of my friends who would come down live near one of those stops. So it's just like, hey, here's how you're going to get here. Where do I park? You park yourself on the train.
You are the transportation.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we'll see if I get any converts over the next year.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, last station, Wilshire La Cienega. That is the first one that's going to be in Beverly Hills. So the first train service to Beverly Hills since 1954.
Oh, I can't wait to see that town just erupt into so much crime and chaos.
Well, it's funny. So it is funny because I saw somewhere someone commented like, oh, I wonder how Beverly Hills feels about the fact that they're getting a train, and the implication being like they hate it, right? And then I commented like I didn't understand, like, yeah, those poor rubes have gone without like any rail service since 1954. Like really, they've got to be like breathing a sigh of relief.
Is there anyone from Beverly Hills that is pro transit that we can talk to?
Oh yeah, I've got I mean, I guess I can shout out the podcast. Michael Carrick, he's on the parking committee up there. I mean, like actually talking with him a lot. Like it's interesting. I think. Like with stuff like SB 79, a lot of the stuff that they're doing, I would actually argue from the stuff I'm seeing Beverly Hills that they actually might be more of an urbanist city than Los Angeles is. What a lot of the conversations I'm hearing from him. I think then passing, he's like, yeah, they were talking about having like maximum parking requirements, but for reasons that we would never have come up with. But yeah, he would definitely be somebody who'd be really good to have on.
Okay. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time in Beverly Hills, but this area of Beverly Hills where it's going to be is the area of Beverly Hills with all the stuff that I like in Beverly Hills, which is like the Fine Arts Theater, the Lumiere Music Hall, the Saban Theater, the Samuel Goldwyn Theater, and the Margaret Herrick Library. And after that, I think the next stop in the next phase will be at Rodeo Drive, which I'm not, I don't care about.
Hey, I like rich people.
I like Rodeo Drive because I think it's, to Rodeo is it's like the Beverly Hills outdoor mall area that's supposed to look like Europe, and it's a walking street. It's a pedestrian plaza, so of course I like that. Yeah, it's like we're in old Europe. There's cobblestones. But I love that. I mean, I love that it's kitschy, but I don't think that anyone that goes there is celebrating the kitsch of it. They're just like, no, it's very classy. Actually, it's not funny at all.
Yeah. How about transit wish list items? Well, Eric, you talked about yours already.
I'm going to say, my transit wish list item is going to be more seating in stations and more shelter on the seats that are in the sun.
All right, so my transit magic
Wow.
Magic lawn.
Magic lawn. It's got a
full of
growth
grass.
problem, and it's coming out of downtown.
It's thirsty and it's fallow.
So for every train station, I want at least 100 yards of fallow lawn at all of them. For my magic wand item, I would like to resize the fonts on all of the metro station display screens. Okay. Because if you look at them, the white bar up top, like at 7th Metro or the subway stations, the white bar, gray bar, whatever color it is, it's a giant gray bar up top that is larger than the text of the actual trains and when they're arriving below. On any of these signs, you typically have 4 trains, 2 for each of your lines, going in each direction, 2 Bs, 2 Ds. The way that it's sized right now, you can only see 3 of those. And the 4th train, which is always the one that I need to take, is not visible when I get there. And you have to wait for it to scroll up. So if you simply change the font size, make destination and time a lot smaller, move up that white bar, and shrink the font size of those 3 by 2 points, 3 points. I'm assuming these are standard definition monitors from 1992, right? Shrink it by a point so you can fit all 4 of them at once, and you don't have to have the scrolling thing. That would make my life so...
What if you just had a bigger monitor? You know, it's just so... Because I'm assuming that some people have a hard time reading small print.
But again, it's not even small print. I have a hard time reading stuff. Like, my eyes are terrible. But if you just make the top header bar, which is larger than the things you're supposed to be reading, make that smaller and just put them a little closer together, you're not going to damage readability at all, and you don't have to invest anything. It's kind of like when you add like the cost of paint for a bike lane versus building
having
something.
to buy new CRT monitors.
Right. Just adjust the font sizes a little
Just
bit.
give grandma binoculars when she can't read the sign. That's how we solve. That's how we solve accessibility.
They could have one of those little view things that you put like a quarter in, and then it's a little telescope. That if you can't read it, you just drop a quarter in here, and then you read the sign.
We'd like to give everyone an old-timey periscope. Signs with.
That's my train right here.
Look, just a little tiny adjustment could make that so much better. Colin.
Yeah, I think mine would be, maybe like e-bike charging stations. That's been my big thing. I toy with like, do you just do an outlet and then everyone just brings their own plug as one way to do it? But then the other idea, especially because I don't know, you have all these EV car charging stations and like. The one thing I definitely noticed, I mean, it's probably like a lot of cities, but I think Los Angeles especially, like there's like a huge e-bike explosion. I thought it'd be, you do charging stations and you have either like 3 or 4 of the most common, like Aventon, Electric, not Rad Power anymore, rest in peace. Or maybe you do one out there. But basically you get like some of the extension cables or the adapters that can plug into there and you just do free charging.
I've never ridden an electric bike
What,
yet. No,
dude?
I know.
That's what all the lazy people do. My friend has a great name
Look
for them.
at these thighs.
Do
they look like they ride electric bikes?
My friend has a great name for them. He's like, they're not bikes. They're bike-shaped objects.
I'm not about shaming electric bikes at all. But no, I didn't. How many different...
There's like,
I mean, outlets are you dealing
there's
with?
There's just, because there's so many brands. Each one, it's like, like the early days of electric vehicles where there's like these 7 or 8 different brands.
Or even phones. I know still with like USBs, it's like.
They didn't standardize it, but like that's been, like I easily could see, like, in the.
It seems like such a no-brainer just standardizing. Sorry, just to interrupt. Like, imagine if every like screw thread, and you're like, does this washer fit with this screw? Like, what brand of screw is it? Like, I thought we figured this shit out a long time ago.
First thing, maybe David Metro standardized bike plugs.
Yeah.
But like, in the pipe dream, when you finally have like a bike path, protected bike path that goes from San Francisco all the way down to San Diego.
Okay, yeah.
The cool pipe dream would be you have like free electric charging stations all the way down because you can do like 50 or 60 miles with minimal pedaling.
How long does it take to charge an electric bike?
The current, it depends on kind of the voltage. It depends on the charger, but if you do like the standard wall out, it's kind of like the cars. Like you do a standard wall outlet, like buy one that gets 25 miles, they'll take 3 to 4 hours. If you get like a high, if you get like a speed charger, you can do it in 1 to 2 hours.
Okay. I didn't know it took that long.
Yeah. But that's my pipe dream.
Yeah.
You first make the bike lane, make a big protected bike lane. Like this is the highway one for bikes from San Diego to San Francisco. You put little e-bike chargers all the way.
I'm going to bump set the idea of just have outlets to bring your own charger, because when we do one-wheel group rides, we will often plan out group rides where you go, 10 miles or so to the end range of the lowest model's battery, and you plan a stop there. And you find a stop that has power outlets. So the one ride that we'll do is if you go from the strip up to the Griffith Park Observatory, there's a couple of power outlets that are inside the garden fixtures out there. So we'll ride up to the observatory, and then we will descend upon these chargers. Then everyone just brings their chargers, plugs them in, you charge for a little bit, and you go downhill. It is amazing.
I think I can get behind that, and I think to somebody else's pro strategy, which I'm surprised there hasn't been a shop that's taken advantage of this yet. Coffee shops where you can take like a charging cafe.
Well, that is something that I know they have in the Netherlands. I remember hearing about that, like coffee shops where they had, in the early days of cars, it was like, it's like a gas station. You go in, you have coffee and a meal, and then you come out and your car's charged.
Just see, like,
and now cars charge a lot faster. So
in my mind, the fact there's not one of these stops along the beach bike path, how many e-bikes
absolutely.
I see, just like free charging.
Or just at the end, like at Torrance and then up at like Will Rogers Beach.
Oh, yeah. So someone can steal that business idea too.
Yeah.
So I guess like the thing is to figure out, how do we get enough money to start one of these crazy ideas, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
All
that's-
right.
Well, we need to do some
Beverly
crimes.
Hills,
We need to do
Beverly
some
Hills.
crimes on a
Ride the
train.
D to
We're
Beverly
going to ride the
Hills.
crime train, and we're going to do some crimes and make money.
We're gonna ride the D. Roll the D. That solves all the problems.
Ride the D, do crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just need to learn more about what crimes we can do on the crime train.
There we go.
To make money.
What is
We
the
need to get a
best
criminal
crime
to help
train?
us. Yeah.
What's the best crime
What's the best crime to do on a train? To use a train for?
So speaking of crimes, Colin, you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the episode using one of the bike lockers at the Culver City train station. How do those things work? Because I wanted to try that because I don't always like lugging my bike around or lugging my one wheel around.
Kyle, I have a whole YouTube video I can send you on.
Hey!
And
All
that's the
right.
plan.
Included in the show notes.
There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. But the short answer is you can either you can connect it to your tap card, or they have an app you can sign up through. So
Spoiler alert.
Like how safe is it? Have you lost a bike?
I haven't had any problems so far.
Oh, great.
Today could be the day. But
Today could be the day.
there's a pretty big lock on it. At least the doors, it's pretty hard to get through. There's cameras inside of it. And then they have locks inside of it on top
There's
of
an
that.
attendant inside, a
Don't
small
leave during
attendant. Yeah.
Actually,
Like a little hobbit who lives inside.
There's usually a bike shop attached to it, so there's somebody kind of monitoring during the day. If in the evening, buyer beware. But nobody goes to it, man. For now, yeah. So this is like, what would they do? They're just gonna steal the $2,000 bike that's sitting, locked outside. You got to be don't be the most expensive bike they can steal.
Yeah,
That-
right.
Definitely don't look like it.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. They also always usually have bathrooms. I think there's Hollywood one does not, but most of the bike parking hubs, I have to remember the name, but most of them have bathrooms. So that's also the pro tip.
I love that bathrooms are finally becoming more
drones are so
prominent.
good.
Look, legit, I fully expect when people come for the Olympics, we need this technology in our city right now. Yeah. Because I think they're not super expensive to install either. Yeah.
I'm going to work on like a blog piece about just people. Well, the whole thing about the coffee inside of the stations. People were like, "Oh, it's like," and I was like, "Every station should have at least a vending machine."
Yeah.
And then I started, someone was like, "Yeah, like Japan," and I was like, "Wait, like what is the history of that?" So I started, I'll save. I won't go full into it, but.
You don't need to read the blog post.
It wasn't just Japan that had vending machines back in the old days. It actually started out in like European and American metro systems.
I was say, it always came back to the U.S.
Exactly. And then because you go to any place like Union Station, and you're like, oh, look, it has like built-in restaurants and restrooms and stuff. It's not like they went in and installed those in the 90s after Metro started. It's actually that they got rid of most of those in systems that were around in the 70s, because that's when during white flight, and they're like, now we're disinvesting in everything urban, and
everything needs to look like Union Station. That's the goal.
And like, so now we're starting to get restrooms everywhere, and if we're starting to get coffee inside of stuff, it's like we're rediscovering how to make fire, and that's that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's get some pachinko
As long as we
machines
get
next.
to well, just there's so many. I guess they had a program in, I think, 2012 where they had 4 stations where they're like, okay, we'll put vending machines, and then they said the janitorial costs went up and blah blah blah. And I did the math, and I was like, wait, so it cost them like $500 extra for each station or something, like in the amount of extra janitorial money they had to spend minus how much they made from the vending machine. I'm like, then you just have more. And also, it's one of the only public goods where we say like, well, you have to turn a profit. We don't say with the police like, well, it costs this much money every time they respond to a 911 call, so we're getting rid of 911 because it's not turning a profit. We don't say that about public libraries. We don't say that about public parks. We don't say that about roads or anything else. Freeways. We're not like.
If you want to talk about social,
it's called a freeway.
If you want to talk about communism, man, let's go look at our transportation.
Why
budget
is it a freeway and not a tollway? And it's like, because well, it's not really making any money. So we don't need to. Everything doesn't need to figure out how to make money. But that's not a reason to not have stuff that makes some money. And makes the experience of riding that much more pleasant. And when the ride is pleasant, like especially people with kids, traveling with kids, like that's the whole thing. I've still never used a throne, but
they're great. They're actually you got to get on the throne, dude. Next t-shirt.
I still advocate for them, because especially for people with kids, it's like
dude,
if a kid has to use the bathroom,
they're so easy. You literally just send a text message. It opens. It gives you 5 minutes. You come out. If it's like in bad shape, you just text somebody and they deal with it so quickly.
Right.
Some nice music.
Oh yeah. It's
it's the kind of thing that everyone will need at some point in their day, hopefully. Something like that. And so it's like that should just exist everywhere. They should have them in all the parks over a certain size.
And there's needle drop-offs in them too.
Yeah.
But if you have needle drops, that encourages people to do drugs that you shoot. They're like, hey, I never thought about that. But if there's the only thing that stopped me from shooting up is that I never knew where to put the needle. And now they're encouraging me.
So anything we want to plug before we wrap up?
So we're going to have after the mayoral debate on the 23rd, Streets for All is hosting a mayoral debate with Ray Huang, Nithya Raman, the other people, not Karen Bass yet. She hasn't responded, but or hasn't confirmed.
The challenge.
And we just thought, well, let's just hop on the back of that and have our next meetup in person instead of Zoom. Okay, 23rd. And so after it ends, we'll just go. Oh man, what's that Irish bar called around the corner?
Liberties of Dublin.
Our last meetup that Colin came to. Colin's come to all the meetups, including the Trey Line Extension.
I think I missed the second one, but the rest of them I missed.
No, you can't.
I know the noob tube. I missed the noob tube.
Oh, you didn't come. Yeah,
no noob tube.
That's true. Okay.
I'm a professional. I'm a professional tube.
I'm not deigning to come on something called tube noob.
I'm not a noob.
I'm a professional.
I'm a pro.
But you did come on the A-Line Extension ride, and
dude, they need more of those. So much free food.
And then we did the one at Angelino Wines and Highland Park Brewery, and I don't remember why I brought that up, but
I run by Highland Park Brewery all the time now. That historic state park is my favorite running route, and Highland Park is right there. One of these days, I'm going to get a drink there.
And once that gondola goes in there, boom! No, but
drop it from above.
I remember why I brought it up. Now I forget again. Why did I? Highland Park Brewing, the meetup. Oh, the second meetup we had that wasn't part of a train ride. We tried to piggyback on the back of Ciclavia, and that proved to be a lot, I think, for people, because people were exhausted after Ciclavia. So we didn't get a big turnout, but I think hopefully if coming out to walking around the corner to a bar after a mayoral debate, people can get into that.
And hey, at the very least, we can just vent about the results of the debate. Good gossip.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, honestly, I'm in DSA now, and there's 2 DSA candidates, and I think that's a good thing for politics, local politics. Wait, do you want to plug where you want to be found?
Oh, you can find me.
Because we're not just about making transit connections, we're about love connections too.
Yeah. We like all of the above at the same time. LABikeBoy YouTube, that's probably the best place. And then maybe like a little drop, but I'm working on a project right now with the Venice Neighborhood Council on expanding or looking at upgrading the bike network in Venice. So depending when this comes out, there's a survey that is out. If you would like to voice your opinion on what needs improved or what needs changed, look out for that.
Restore the canals. Restore and expand the canals.
We'll bring all the water back.
Make every street a canal.
I want a bike lane on Speedway. We need that on Speedway. The beach path is too slow. Speedway good. Can't fit more than one car down there anyway.
Put it in the comments. I think we have like a few hundred right now, so it's good. We got a lot to chew on, so I'm very excited.
Are there any comments that we could strategically bump?
If you want to like just bias that way, or
how can we skew your numbers? Listeners, how can we skew their numbers?
Well, I think you read the survey, and I think certain answers will, if you want to skew things certain ways. But I would say just take it once, please. I'm trying to make sure it's as balanced.
No, not like spam it, but like anything that seems like it might have some legs that could use more support.
Well, I mean, this one definitely has support because actually, crazy enough, Washington Boulevard, Tracy Park's office has actually started to do some studies from USC to actually look at improving it. Wow. Because they've got two people to ask them to improve it, and at least from the initial results I'm looking at, there's a lot of people saying Washington. So you can add more fuel to that fire there just to give overwhelming support.
Tracy parking lot is on
Tracy,
board.
I'm telling you.
I just came up with it. There's a T-shirt, Tracy parking lot.
There's dude, I'm saying if you want her to make a plaza, or make a pedestrian only place, just call it Tracy Park. That's how you do it. But yeah, that's Washington Boulevard. That's definitely one that they're already looking at it. The rest of it, just like whatever, if you like this, there's a street you go down a lot, you're like, I want this to be more bike safe, let us know, man. Yeah. Abbott Kinney, Windward, those are a couple of others that come up as well, a few.
Wasn't there a BRT plant, like sort of plan for Lincoln a long time ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's on, if you look at the SB 79 maps LA City has, it's on there, but then in the planning documents, it's like, but give me your opinion. Good or bad. If you think bikes are communism, let me know too. That's good to record. Yeah.
Wait, how was your BRT experience? We didn't talk about that. I mean, we don't have to.
That's an episode in and of itself.
And are there crime BRTs? Is that the crime?
You thought trains were bad.
Bus rapid crime. The BRC. But that's already taken. That's the bean rice cheese at El Pollo Loco. We gotta rebrand this.
Well, all right, let's go ride that D.